Again, class, good day. So for our lessons for today, so it's about the applications using the truth table. So we just used the concepts class of how we create truth tables and the truth values. Then we apply this one when we solve problems that involve such. So going back again to the concept class of your truth tables based on the conjunction, which is the use of the word and, disjunction or the or, conditional if then, and the biconditional if and only if. So again, we have these following symbols that we represent this for connectives. So this is again the symbol for the and, the symbol for or, the symbol for if then, and we have our biconditional if and only if. So I just highlighted here, class, when to say that both are to be true, that the statement of your conjunction is true, is that both statements should be true, then the rest are false. For the disjunction, again, all the combinations are true as long as one of the given statement or simple statement is true. However, if both are false, then that makes your disjunction false. For the conditional statement if then the only thing that it is a false statement, class, is if the first statement is true and the second one is false, because in the conditional, the first statement is what we call the premise and the second statement is the conclusion. So this is how we see it, class. So even if the statement is either true or false, but when the conclusion is false, then of course the entire conditional statement is a false statement. For the biconditional, class, it should be that both are true or both are false to make it a true statement. Otherwise, if one is true, the other one is false, then it is a false statement. So we have to use this again so that we can create all the possibilities, class, when we solve problems that involves the truth table. So first thing is, how are we going now to find out how many combinations, okay, can we create? Do we have 4 combinations? Do we have 8 combinations? Do we have 16 combinations? So it depends, class, okay, on the number of statements involved. So we are given here 2 raised to n as our formula. So 2 here is a fixed number where your n is the number of statements. So if there are 2 statements, like for example here, statement P is she has a boyfriend. Statement Q is her daily allowance is 500 pesos. So we only have 2 statements here. So if you're going to put this into the formula, 2 raised to 2, where your exponent, class, is the number of statements, so we have 4 combinations. So we have to create 4 combinations, okay, using the truth table, and this would be our combinations, class. So true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. Okay, so this is where we can start to make a um, truth table based on the 4 combinations. Now, this is how we usually put together, class, okay, just to guide us, okay. So true, true, false, false. So remember that one is the negation of the other. So if this is she has a boyfriend as the original statement, then true, true, false, false. So she has a boyfriend, she has a boyfriend, then both are false. Then she has no boyfriend, she has no boyfriend. Now, of course, in the Q statement, this is also the same as true, false, true, false. So her daily allowance is 500. So this is false. Her daily allowance is not 500. True, her daily allowance is 500. Then her daily allowance is not 500. So this will be the 4 combinations, class. And now it depends on what um, connectives we are using. So if we are using conjunction like the word and, then we just combine them, that she has a boyfriend and her daily allowance is 500, or one combination could be she has a boyfriend and her daily allowance is not 500, or we could have she has no boyfriend and her daily allowance is 500, or she has no boyfriend and her daily allowance is not 500. So these are the 4 possibilities, class, if we have 2 statements. So if we have here 3 statements, like she has a boyfriend, her daily allowance is 500 pesos, another statement. Then she owns a dog. This is the third statement. So we already have three statements involved. So that will be 2 raised to 3, and that would be 8 combinations. So how do we create 8 combinations? Then we can have the following. So first is half of the true, half are true, half are false. Then the next will be 2 each. So true, true, false, false, true, true, false, false. Then the last will be true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. So you can now create these 8 combinations already. Then if we let this original statement class as all true, then we can just put it here so that we can be guided. Then we can just put like the statement. So it does not necessarily mean class that you have to really put in toto or whatever is the exact wording. So it is enough for us now just to put now the important keywords here. So we can have has a boyfriend, allowance is 500, owns a dog. So if you're going to create to negate it, then you just say has no boyfriend, or allowance is not 500, then does not own a dog. And this will now guide us class on the possible combinations later on. So it depends on what connectives we are using. Okay, now if this will be the case, Marites claims that if her new neighbor has a boyfriend or her daily allowance is 500, then she owns a dog. Now, if this is the compound statement, so as I said, you can create, okay, you can make your own letters to represent each statement. Then you are going now to use the hierarchy, okay, of connective. So which one should be done first based on the hierarchy? So because there we have the if then statement, okay, we have all the or. So in this case, this is how it is class. Ayan. So P is, of course, her new neighbor has a boyfriend. Your Q is her daily allowance is 500. Then the R represents she owns a dog. So we have here all the combinations, okay, as we just had this one earlier, okay, as the previous slides. Then we can highlight this one here. So has a boyfriend, allowance is 500, then owns a dog. So we want to find out if this is true or false. Okay, so these are the 8 possibilities, but identifying which of these 8, okay, represents this statement. So as claimed by Marites, then this is the one. So this is the first one. Then we can, of course, make this as our basis now to create the truth values. So remember that we have to use this symbol. So first is that we have our original compound statement here. Then we already have this one, true, true, true. Then we just substitute it by the letter T that represents true. Then we are going to simplify. So true or true is true. Then we have here the conditional. If true, then true. That is also true. So meaning, if this is a claim, so she claims that if her new neighbor has a boyfriend or her daily allowance is 500, then she owns a dog. Okay, and this is a true statement. Therefore, we could now say that Marites' claim is a true statement. Ayan. So, another example is this one. Marites claims that her new neighbor has a boyfriend. So here we have 4 possibilities: has a boyfriend, has no boyfriend, and her daily allowance is not 500. So we have here daily allowance is not 500. So again, we have another 4 here. Then she does not own a dog. So does not own a dog here. So we have to look for these combinations. Has a new boyfriend, daily allowance is not 500, then does not own a dog. So these 3 are the ones that we need to evaluate or validate whether this one is true or not. Of course, we are given here also the symbols that represents this compound statement. So taking this, we are going to concentrate on this one only. Then, of course, this is the given uh, symbols. Okay, then we are going now to input class the truth values here. So here we have true, false, then this is also false. So because we have the and the or, so these are in the same hierarchy class of connective. So it's either you are going to simplify first your connective and, or you're going to simplify first your connective or. So what I did here is that I just put the two together, that they are the same, and of course just to show you that the result is the same. So true, Q is false, then R is false. Here, that's the same, but it's just a matter of which one should be done first. So here, true and false. So remember, this is and true and false is false. Then still we have our false here. False or false is still false. Then we have our true and then of course on the left for false or false is still false. Here we have the connective and true and false is still false. So in other words, this claim of Marites is a false claim. So it is a false statement class. Therefore, we have a false statement here. Then, what about this one? So again, so among the 8 possibilities class, so you have to identify which one among the 8. So the new neighbor has no boyfriend, then her daily allowance is 500, then she owns a dog. So this is now the one that we need to test. Okay, so false, true, true. So we are given here the false, the true, and the true. So remember that this is the first thing that we did. Okay, we identify the possibilities among the 8 combinations. Then we just take this one as our case. Then, of course, we are given also the symbols here. So, again, both are using connectives and, so it doesn't matter which one should be done first class. So, what I did is I just give you 2 possibilities here or possible solutions. So, again, so P and Q and R is the same as P and the quantity Q and R. So here your P is false, your Q is true, your R is true. So we just uh, change them into its truth values, then we apply the rules. So this is and, connective and. So remember that to be true, it should always, both should be true. Otherwise, it's a false statement. So false and true is false. Then I'm going to copy and true here. Now on the right side, I have to simplify first this one. So true and true is true. Then I have false and true. Then, of course, false and true is false. Then false and true is also false. So this claim of Marites, okay, if we evaluate this using now the truth table, then this is a false claim or a false statement. Okay, so therefore, her claim that her new neighbor has no boyfriend but her daily allowance is 500 and she owns a dog is a false statement. Okay, so there are lots of problems that made use of will make use of the truth values class. So here we have another example. So the owner of a professional basketball association team publishes an open letter to fans after another losing a season. He claims, so this is now his claims, that if attendance for the following season is over 2 million, meaning if the fans will watch the games, okay, and it will be over 2 million, then he will add 20 million pesos to the payroll and the team will make the playoffs the following year. Okay, so first, how are we going now to come up with our uh, combinations? Of course, we are going now to look for that statement, okay, the compound statement. If attendance for the following season is over 2 million, then he will add 20 million to the payroll and the team will make the playoffs the following year. So here will be our compound statements that contains 3 simple statements. So we are going to rewrite them so that we can be guided. So let P, or you can have ABC or XYZ class as I told you, so it doesn't matter. So P is the attendance for the following season is over 2 million. Q will be he will add 20 million to the payroll. Then R, the team will make the playoffs the following year. So here we have three simple statements, and based from our formula, 2 raised now to 3 is 8. So there will be 8 combinations. Okay, so write a compound statement in symbolic form and construct a table for the compound statements. So because there are 3 statements, simple statements, so 2 raised to 3 is 8. So there will be 8 combinations class. Okay, so that will be the one that we're going to create. So of course, we symbolize this first. So we have our P implies Q and R because we have if then we have and here. Then since we don't have any parenthesis class, then we apply the rule of hierarchy. So using the hierarchy connective, so we know that and is higher than your conditional. So this will be our um, combination class. Okay, so we can create a table. So there will be 8 combinations class. So this will be our cases. Okay, so first you can create this one, K, Q, and R here. So we'll be focusing in Q and R. Then this is and. So both should be true. Otherwise, it will be false. So again, I have true here. That's true. The rest are false. Then I have to carry this one here because I have now my P here. Then I'm going to copy here. So this will be now my second table. Then applying the conditional. Remember class that in the conditional statement, it will be true if both are true or both are false, or if the first is false, the second is true. So here true and true is true. So true false actually is false. Okay. True false again is false. False true is true. Both are false is again true. Okay. And of course, if you're going to rewrite this, just to simplify this again, so you have your P, Q, and R, then the results here are the following. So of course, we cannot really, if you are not yet into the abstract class, then it would be very difficult for us to use this one. So it's best that you're going now to write the statements besides these truth values. So only the keywords will do class. Okay, so that's important. So if you're going to create this like this one class, so I have to put it here. Ayan. Because this will guide us, the statement will guide us. So this true, 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 false, 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 these are the things here. Then the result class here. So this is now the result. So if you're going to expand this table here, so this will be the cases. Again, of course, we have these statements as the original. Okay, so we can now uh, answer questions based from this one class. Okay. So if attendance goes over 2 million the next year and the owner raises payroll by 20 million, but the team fails to make the playoffs, is the owner's claim true or false? So how are we going now to answer this? So that's the reason why class, it's very important to have this. Okay, so because these are already the results, so all we need now is to find the match statement here. So attendance goes over 2 million. So we have here attendance 2 million. So I have here the 4 possibilities. Then the next is the owner raises payroll by 20 million. So again here from 4, then I have another choices here. Add 20 million to the payroll. Okay, so I have here now. So this will be our possibilities. Then the last one is team fails to make the playoffs. So here make the playoff, fails to make the playoff. So here we have fails to make the playoff. So this one here is our answer. So we can see already that our answers will be this one. Okay, so this is now our statement that we are looking. Then we see that the result is false. And this claim is a false claim by the owners. Okay, so that's how we solve problems class. Okay, referring to these questions. Now, another one is if attendance is less than 2 million, but owner still raises the payroll by 20 million and the team makes the playoffs, is the owner's claim true or false? So again, it's very important to have this one. So identify that the the term class or the keywords here, less than 2 million in meaning that it is the opposite of over 2 million. So when we say the opposite of over 2 million, it means that it is less than 2 million. So here we have the four possibilities. So from 8, then we just drop all the other four, then concentrate on this one. Then the next statement is still raises the payroll by 20 million. So because we have here the four possibilities, then we have to look it here for the second statement. It says that it raises the payroll by 20 million. So meaning that's the same as adding 20 million or does not add 20 million. So the word raises 20 million, it means you add 20 million. So from 4 here, you drop the 2 here, then we are now concentrating on these two statements because both are the same so far. Okay, then the last here statement is team makes the playoffs. So here you can have make the playoffs or fails to make the playoffs. So this one here is the correct. So this is now the statement that we need. And here we already have the result, okay, previously, and that will be our answer. Okay, so our answer now will be true. So the claim of the owner is a true statement. Okay, now another one is if attendance is over 2 million, the owner doesn't raise the payroll, but the team still makes the playoffs. Is the owner's claim true or false? So here, attendance is over 2 million. Look for this statement. Does not raise the payroll by 20 million. Makes the playoffs. So these are the three things that we need. So we have to find out over 2 million. So we have here the four possible statements. But when you move now to your second statement, it says that does not raise the payroll. So you have to concentrate on this one. So you can drop off now this first two, then you can have this first two. So raises now does not add 20 million. However, the third is makes the playoffs. So that is now the third one, makes the playoffs. So you can now see clearly here that this is a false statement. So therefore, this claim is a false claim by the owners. Okay, so another one, if we have this one to be the last. So again, if attendance is less than 2 million, the owner doesn't raise the payroll, but the team still makes the playoffs. Again, the word but class is conjunction. This is the same as and. Is the owner's claim true or false? So again, you look for the statement that is less than 2 million, owner does not raise the payroll, and makes the playoffs. So among the 8 statements here, so identify, starting first with less than 2 million, so we have 4 possibilities. Then for the second statement, does not raise the payroll, it means that does not add 20 million. So these are the two possibilities based from this one. So you can drop now these two. So we can concentrate here for the last two. Then the last statement says that it makes the playoff. And I have here now make the playoff. Okay, then at the end, you will notice that we have T here representing that it is a true statement. So therefore, the answer now is true. So that's the claim class of the owner. So it is a true statement. Okay, so there are still others, okay, which are similar to this one. So the first thing that you do is, of course, identify how many simple statements are there, and that will determine class how many combinations that we can create. Then you are going to, of course, translate the statements into symbols using the appropriate connectives. Then you apply the hierarchy of connectives. If there are no parentheses involved, then you just um, construct a truth table. Then once you have the truth table, then you can put now the necessary descriptions to each Then, of course, you use that now to answer the questions. Okay. And once again, so thank you for your time and see you again, class, on the next presentation. Bye-bye, everyone.